Hello. Yeah, Fridge started singing the song of its people just in time for the stream. Thanks, Fridge. Just fishing out a cherry to garnish my cocktail. It's not really working with this. There we go. A lot of syrup on the spoon. Cherry syrup. Yum. What are we doing? Tuesday night. Last day of February. Last day of summer. It's been very cloudy all day, so it's barely any light out there. It'd be more light if it wasn't so cloudy. There you go. That's a fucking wonderful statement on my part. Looking for stunning, mind-blowing insights into the world in general. From me, that's it. It would be lighter if there was less cloud. Trouble believing I said something that banal. But anyway, what have we got going on here? Just look at it news. Maybe something to set the mood for the evening. A teen released with caution after a stabbing. Dang. Ooh, okay. This is the most damning thing I think I've heard out of the Robodebt Royal Commission. Ex-Human Service Minister Stuart Robert vowed to double down on Robodebt after being told it was illegal. On February 29, former Human Services Secretary became aware the scheme was unlawful after advice from the Solicitor General. She says, in 30 years, I never discovered I'd been administering a program of scale that was unlawful. Briefed the minister. Notes the conversation made by Professor Leon was shown to the inquiry, in which she claimed he replied, legal advice is just advice. In the second conversation, she said, best course is to apologise to our customers, admit the error, inform customers and staff of steps we'll take to recover the error. She says, Mr. Robert replied, we absolutely will not be doing that. We will double down. What a piece of poo. Big old stinky piece of poo. What are you going to do? Anyway, geez, all. Did I say hello, Megaleech? I feel like I must have. Maybe I didn't. I can be forgetful. Forgetful. In my old age, in my dotage, can easily, forget myself. But yes. If I'm a bit sleepier than usual, if I feel even vaguer than usual, it's because of the lunch I had today. So that's wasn't my fault. Ran into my cousin Sammy and insisted on getting me a drink. Dontron, hello. And Justin, what summer? We had some hot weather, not like an average summer. And in fact, I will wager, not like next summer's going to be, we go into oh my God, what a ridiculous noise Shadow just made. Yes, as we go into El Nino after 3 La Niñas in a row, we are probably going to have a dry winter followed by a hot, dry summer. Probably bushfire season of nightmarish epic proportions. Something to look forward to. Dang. It's supposed to be a little bit warm at the end of this week too. I mean, we got to get some warm days right through to April. Jesus. Thanks to climate change, we tend to get some warm days in May as well. But there will be less extreme heat. Probably no extreme heat from now on, but who knows? And the lows will be getting lower. The overnight lows will be getting lower. Is this gone funny? It's in my imagination. Still a very nice drink. Just chilling out on a Tuesday night. Oh, and so the former minister who this for public servant has just dumped on will be called for evidence. Wonder if he will straight up deny that conversation. So Professor Leon was asked why she thought the illegality of the scheme was not picked up earlier. So one possibility, someone knew, but they'd already raised the idea with the government that would save billions of dollars, and they were reluctant to withdraw it. I hope that isn't the case, she added. Public service ought to have some red lines, and lawfulness is one of them. I mean, it's super fucking obvious why the LNP pushed robo-debt because they think unemployed people are scum that deserve to be tortured. They thought it was an electoral winner on their part. They're going, oh, we're going to cut all this money from welfare by just making up a thing that says these people owe us money. It's sick and evil just on the face of it. Yo, bum fungus. Do you ever think of the calendar and think, shit, it's only Tuesday? Yeah, most Tuesdays, honestly. I try not to wish the days away because I have comparatively few of them left. But yes, some days it's like, ugh. And so we're sending out summer in style. Well, I'm chilling out, having a chilled out farewell to summer. And, yum, that is really nice. Justin, I did see that story. Someone, was it in Singapore? One of our near neighbors, anyway. Guy wanted to sue a woman because she wouldn't get romantically involved with him. Now, I don't know what is actually behind that with that guy. Is he just mentally unwell that he thinks this is a reasonable thing to do? I don't want to have too high opinion of the world, but just on the face of it, it's impossible for that to be successful in a court if the court is adhering to anything remotely approaching law. Like, it's on the face of it just absurdly stupid. So is this like a men's rights type guy who's doing something really stupid just for publicity? Or is it just someone who is genuinely mentally unwell, detached from reality, who actually doesn't understand what a fucking ridiculous thing to do this is? I don't know. Suffer is a super change reverse robo debt for the rich. No. The LNP had put in far too many ridiculous tax breaks, which is never what superannuation was meant to be. It was meant to be something that protected working people, not yet another fucking tax dodge for the super rich. It's absolutely absurd, the layers upon layers of tax dodges the LNP have put in since the Howard years, and Labor needs to do much, much more to get rid of them. Like the property investment ones. Fuck's sake. There's just nobody should get any sort of a tax break whatsoever for property investing. They just shouldn't, because it's led to just an horrific criminal situation in both the rental and home buying markets. It's just okay. Look, if people actually want to make investments in property, because they're confident they can make money off them, well and good, but the idea that the super rich are getting these massive tax benefits to completely fuck the housing market and just ruin the lives of so many people, it's just not on. So yes, I'll do my standard little rant about ridiculous conservative political policies that benefit a tiny, 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 tiny minority while ruining lives for ordinary people. It's just what they do, and I'm sick of it. So sick of it. And that's it for the Angry Socialist News. Not really. Commission. Oh, sorry. I've got another thing on RoboDebt. Commission heard there's a long-standing and undesirable culture of heads of departments delivering bad news to ministers verbally, so there was no paper trail. DHS had a history of senior management yelling and publicly shaming people, and she tried to change that culture. Professor Evans said there began to be consequences for people who were unhelpful for the government, and people became more anxious to be compliant with ministers' expectations. Once you got to the point you had to put difficult things in writing, you're potentially on a collision course with your minister. Had to soften language. Oh, this is not okay. This is not just the public service. This is the corporate world too. Don't say this would cause significant hardship. Say it would cause significant concern. How's it? Wowzers. Oh, man. The dirt's really coming out now. So just the next budget, no new spending. You can confidently say that as a federal public servant. Well, it's all fucking smoke and mirrors anyway. There's a lot of untruthfulness. I say, so the former minister that this former public servant just fucking dumped on. And that minister is coming back on Thursday. Oh, that ought to be a hoot. So it's just like, yes, Mr. Robert, a public servant just called you an evil fucking steaming pile of shit. How do you respond to that? It's ridiculous. So, Ed Sheeran did a performance for children at Royal Children's Hospital. Well, that's nice. I don't know how many of the kids will know who the fuck he is because it's not exactly kids' music. Oh my god! Sorry, there's just so many stories about yes, the United States about to collapse, just layers upon layers of insanity infecting both their state and federal political systems. Just truly, truly disturbing things. Oh, we did get that story this week. US agency saying they think COVID did actually come from a lab leak in China. The US Energy Department concluded the pandemic likely arose from a Chinese laboratory leak, which the Chinese authorities deny. So, yes. What actually happened? The Wall Street Journal reported on Sunday. So, how does the US Energy Department come to that conclusion? That's what I want to know. Made its judgment with low confidence. So, what's that? It's like, I don't know, maybe it did. I don't know. For other US agencies, still judge COVID-19 was likely the result of natural transmission, while two are undecided. Jesus, we live in a fucking insane world, quite honestly. Safa, good. When am I getting my fifth jab? There is a different covalent vaccine that will be available next month. Like, okay, tomorrow is next month. It's supposed to be in March. And there are a lot of reports that suggesting it's an even better one. So I might wait a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, no, the spending in the lead up to elections is a fucking cliche in government at every level. It's ridiculous. So okay, so this thing that everyone's been going, oh my god, it's definitely a lab leak. It's one US government agency had that finding with low confidence, and four other agencies, along with the National Intelligence Panel, say no, it's likely the result of natural transmission. Sure. Okay. Sure. Whatevs. Whatevs. What else is going on? What's going on now? Oh, actually, good. Okay, here's a headline. New COVID-19 vaccination targeting Omicron variants. In April. Okay. Government bought 3 million doses of the Spikevax bivalent formulation. Pfizer version in stock by March 6th. Oh, there you go. I'm going to wait for that one. No, I'm going to wait to April. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yep. So I reckon the Pfizer one is supposed to be available within a couple of weeks. Government opened up eligibility for boosters last month. Those aged over 65 get a fifth of new. Yeah. Some Australians are choosing to wait till 6 March when Pfizer's bivalent. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. So I don't know, in 2 weeks? Might get a booster in 2 weeks. Hey, Pugwash in almost Springland. Good morning to you. And hi, Wolf Queen. You glad you don't like the heat? That's fair. And yes, Suffer, it is being the shortest month. February is a bit of a scam. Just very weird decisions made with calendars, basically. Like, we should have 13 months with 28 days in each. God, Shieldsy. That's a bit extreme. You're upset if it gets over 25. You want it below 15? God damn. No, I'm not a fan. 25's and maybe a light breeze. 25 with a light breeze is kind of my perfect day. Pugwashamaya Luna Looney. No, I mean, I was just saying, like, the months are so weird and arbitrary and confusing. And they have changed multiple times over the centuries. That's the other thing. Like, if you ever suggest changing the calendars, you'll get people who freak out, and it's like, no, you can't do that. It's like it hasn't been like that forever. Calendars have changed heaps over the centuries. So if you like 28, depending on the day, 28 can actually be a bit warm. I'm a bit more of a fan of 25. It depends what sort of breeze you're getting. What's we get for living up in the tropics, Shieldsy? No wind, high humidity for 4 days. Damn. Yeah, so that's one of the changes. In the French Revolution, they changed the name of a bunch of months. Didn't last. But even outside of that, there's been a whole bunch of changes to calendars over, hundreds, thousands of years. I don't know. But again, they change. These weird things, and I actually am a little susceptible to this mindset as well, thinking that how things are now and how I know them now is how they've always been, and so they can't change from now because it's always been like now, and it's simply not true. Yeah, well, was it really Julius Caesar who did that? Put in Junius and Julius? Or was it done in his honor? I don't know. But yeah, that's the whole thing. We had all the months that were in line, the name Sept for seventh, Oct, Nov, Dec. And then they got fucked up by the introduction of June and July. So, yeah, language. It'd be a funny thing. A weird thing. A very weird thing. Speaking of weird things, like a weird old-fashioned. Seek out for guidance from this book. Do 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 do. What have we got? Oh, that's right. These guys just do them in alphabetical order. Old Ironsides, rum, vermouth, teaspoon of amaretto, and barrel aged bitters. So that's a rum Manhattan variation, which is fine. I just feel like an old-fashioned variation. I'm going to make up my own. It's in the PDT book. Shieldsy, I will drink some water, definitely. All right, now. What do we got here? Oh, so what's in the De La Louisiane? Rye, vermouth, Benedictine, absinthe. Wait, so... Okay, I'm not confused about this book. Is it this other book that I was thinking of? The Nomad Cocktail book. Rainbow Road, Sergeant Pepper. Dark Spirited. That's what I want, something dark spirited. Blistered in the Sun. Sherry. The Brunswick. We've got a Brunswick here in Melbourne. Bitters, maraschino, amato. Oh, well, I'm not going to use Campari. Fuck that. Brown sugar. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to come up with my own. Anarchy. Right. The big question. What are we going to put in it? I know what we're going to put in it. All right, so let's put it in some arbitrary choice. The Kate Byron. Which one is that? That is the Tasker. Kate Byron. Where's my mezcal? There's my mezcal. Kate Byron, mezcal, and the cask strength whiskey. 64%. Woo! Just going to put a bit of that in there. All right, where's my jigger? Where's my jiggers at? Just gonna make an old fashioned. And I'll use my special brown sugar syrup. Because that's the way. I like it. That's enough. Ooh. With little cooking spice flavors that come through on that. When you take me by the hand. All right. Hey, Dr. Abigail, that's what I was wondering. I was feeling a little bit sleepy this afternoon. I think it's because of that lunch. Having the drink at lunchies. So what's that? Pugwash? 1 from the middle, 4 from the top. Call it a countdown. All right, so I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of the Cape Byron whiskey. Half an ounce of the cask strength whiskey. And bitters. Again, see, Pugwash, you're referencing stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. Countdown from the numbers around. I think as a TV program. Okay. So I'm vaguely aware of the existence of that show. Do not watch it. All right. Stir, stir, stir. Every season, turn, turn, turn. There is a reason, turn, turn, turn. Turn, 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 turn. Now, just to be a little bit different, I'm just going to do a teeny mezcal float. Just a little bit of smoky mezcal on the top. Peloton de la Muerte. That's got some kick. Whew. That's a sip and drink, that one. '87th series since '82. So was they do 2 series a year? Yeah, they must do 2 series a year for that to be the 87th season. So Shieldsy, what's this? You had COVID a month ago, hell for 2 days. Oh yeah, no, yeah. The additional resistance your body gets from the vaccines. Because I had COVID too, but it never got worse than a mild cold for me. Various symptoms moved around: a cough, a blocked nose, fever. Oh my God, the day of fever was a friggin' hoot. Lying in bed, shivering, but with a fever. Fevers are dumb as hell. And tired. I wasn't like absolutely exhausted, but anytime I lay down, I was just like, oh man, lying down's fucking awesome. I should do that more. Ugh. All right. Yeah, Mrs. Angry still hasn't got COVID. Pugwash, you're a hermit. What was the thing? I had COVID, and Mrs. Angry never got it. Young Ms. Angry still hasn't had it. Young Mr. Angry and me both had it. He gave it to me. You would swear I'd give it to Mrs. Angry, but I didn't. I mean, when I got a positive test back, we isolated, but I clearly had it for at least a day before, probably 2 days before getting the positive test result back. And somehow she didn't get it. So isolation works. I mean, vaccines work, but isolation works too. Man, that is a fucking serious old-fashioned. It's not my favorite ever. Trying to think, maybe a different. Oh, maybe rum. I'm trying to think a different whiskey with this cask strength whiskey, but maybe a rum, like maybe a really nice sweet rum, and just kick it in the guts with this cask strength whiskey as well. And then top it with mezcal and call it the Death Squad. So she was a 60-plus-year-old dad. Around the person gave you didn't get. Yeah, I mean, this is not just COVID. This is illnesses generally, communicable illnesses generally. There is a weird random factor where there can be a room of people and half of them get it and half of them don't. It's weird. Oh, Jesus, no, Pugwash. People do that all the time. Chat GPT is actually pretty funny for that. Like, okay, look, seriously, let's do it. Look at that. I don't actually get the emoji. I get the description of the emoji, hand pink waving. I think on YouTube it's probably showing that, but I'm seeing that on StreamYard. All right, let's see. I'm sure I'm logged into Chat GPT. Here we go. OpenAI. Sign in. My Google account. Okay. Start with the basics. Generate and OpenAI started image generation now. I just want the text one. Yeah. Oh God, how do I get into it though? No, I don't. I thought I was logged in. I just want to go into OpenAI blog. That's it, chat. That's what I want. Jesus. Okay. Fuck. That was more difficult than I thought it would be. Oh no. I set your Google Hub off. Oh, nice. Use ChatGPT to write a response to the right wing email. Nice. Pugwash used Stable Diffusion, made great fake profile pictures. Okay, so get ChatGPT to come up with a cocktail recipe. What's something you want in it? Say either the spirit you want, or a flavor, or in the style of something. A name of a cocktail. Actually, I like asking it to name the cocktail. So, telling you how to link your Google accounts. Oh no. I mean, I've seen that's happened to people on TV, I think, or people talking about, Alexa or whatever, have made people's Alexas at home do things. So you had a right winger send you an email. People were more resilient back in the day. Use this. Oh, that's a nice string. Explain to me simply how alcohol was used by previous generations to disguise mental illness and social issues, but make it sarcastic. And you actually hit on one of the things I really like about ChatGPT. You can tell it what tone to use. Like, I've done that. Like, write me a script for a video talking about why vodka is a terrible cocktail ingredient and be sarcastic. And it wrote a script in this really sarcastic tone, which was funny. But yeah, kind of everyone on YouTube who makes cocktail videos, has been doing AI-generated cocktail recipes. So not only that, you're about to change the focus with make this a reply to someone who thinks previous generations were better at coping. Nice. Oh, change. Oh, you were able to change the focus. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's the thing, because you can refine it. If it does something and you either don't like it or think it's not quite there, you can actually say, can you try that again, but change the focus to be like this. So it's actually pretty clever. Well, you see, we say don't use vodka. Come up with a cocktail recipe that will both wake me up and mess me up, but do not use vodka as an ingredient. Name the cocktail. Right. So famously, the description that supposedly led to the creation of the espresso martini was give me a drink that'll wake me up and fuck me up. So I said wake me up and mess me up. It's thinking maybe it's under alert. How about a spicy sunrise? 2 ounces of tequila, 1 ounce grapefruit juice, 1 ounce orange juice, half an ounce lime juice, half an ounce agave nectar, half an ounce habanero hot sauce, half an ounce triple sec with a salt rim and a lime wedge. Seriously, that doesn't sound bad. That's basically a very fruity, complicated margarita. Cocktail is sure to wake you up with its spicy kick. Tequila and triple sec will give you the perfect buzz. Just be sure to sip it slowly and drink plenty of water to avoid getting too messed up. My goodness. Yeah, honestly, that's a fruity variation on oh yeah, sunrise. So it's between a margarita and a tequila sunrise with hot sauce. Yeah, I mean it's probably not my sort of drink, but it's not terrible. Oh yeah, Mega Leech, post the result in Discord by all means. So it did it, and you had to re-sarcasmize it. Nice. Create a cocktail in the style of an old fashioned, but combine some different spirits in a surprising way. Do not use vodka. Name the cocktail. My favorite style, the old fashioned. All right, it's thinking. Second cocktail. I think lots of people would stuff into it about cocktails. Here we go. Okay. A smoked maple boulevardier, 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce mezcal, 1 ounce sweet vermouth, 1/4 ounce maple syrup, 2 dashes Angostura bitters, smoked apple wood chips. Wow, whiskey and mezcal, that much mezcal, and it's calling it boulevardier. Mezcal instead of Campari. So a boulevardier would be whiskey, Campari, and sweet vermouth, and this is whiskey, mezcal, and vermouth, but with maple syrup and smoke it. Again, not terrible. So pugwash. Oh, you asked for measurements in millimeters, and it did it. Now, impressed. Yeah. Oh, yes. No, I will always use my UFO smoker for smoking. There are ways to do it. Like if you don't have a smoker like this, you just put the whatever you're going to smoke, the herb, the wood chips, cinnamon. You can like not powdered cinnamon, but yeah, you get a cinnamon stick, break it up, and torch that. You just like do it on a plate, and then put the glass over that so it kind of permeates the glass. And in fact, there's another way heard. Guys going for the most subtle way to add smoke to a cocktail. You're shaking a cocktail, or actually not even. Yeah, no, you're shaking a cocktail. So it's with a shaking cocktail. But while you're preparing it, you do that thing that I said of you smoke whatever on a plate, and you put half the cocktail shaker on that, and then you put all the ingredients in the other half, and then you put it together and shake. So just a little bit of smoke gets sort of put through the drink as you shake it, and then you pour that into a glass. That was interesting, I thought. I don't even have Discord open. I should. Open Discord. So Megaleech, you interested or okay with me reading out this sarcastic chatbot message? So what do I think about the new Cyber Commission? It's interesting. For those who've missed it, the federal government is doing this big push to toughen both cybersecurity regulations in Australia and provide much more government support, but also demand much more responsibility from the corporate world, which would be very, very interesting because it's just an acknowledgement we're in terrible trouble at the moment with the cyber criminals. Okay, so this was a Megaleech thing that ChatGPT generated for him. For a right winger who's saying everyone today sucks and previous generations were tougher. And so I'll say this in a sarcastic tone because it's written in a sarcastic. Oh yeah, sure. Previous generations were absolute masters of coping. I mean, who needs professional help or healthy coping mechanisms when you've got a bottle of whiskey to help you forget all your problems? Am I right? And of course, let's not forget the wonderful stigma surrounding mental illness back then. I mean, who wouldn't want to keep their mental health struggles a secret? Just drown their sorrows in alcohol instead. Sounds like a real recipe for success. And who cares if using alcohol to cope with emotional pain and mental illness can actually make things worse in the long run? Who cares if it leads to addiction, worsens mental health symptoms, and causes a whole host of other problems? As long as you're able to forget about your problems for a little while, that's all that really matters, right? But hey, who needs healthy coping mechanisms like therapy and self-care when you can just drink yourself into oblivion instead? I mean, it's not like there are negative consequences to that, right? Note, this is sarcasm. Seeking professional help is always the best option dealing with mental health and social issues. I love that you asked it to be sarcastic, but it's got a little thing in there saying, I need to tell you this was just sarcasm because I can't have it. We reduced the Turing test to a tick box. What could go wrong? For those who aren't familiar with the idea of the Turing test, it's named after Alan Turing, a computer programmer. Was a code breaker in World War II, driven to suicide by his treatment for being homosexual. But yes, the Turing test is, can you create a chatbot that would convince people it's a real person? And I think there are some rules around it and whatnot. But as we have learned from multiple things, people identify very strongly with the simplest chatbots. And, they'll think, oh, look, you're realistic robots. So you just have to make a robot a little bit cute and people will give it a name and interact with it. You probably need a computer scientist to actually say, here's the serious Turing test and here's why no one's ever passed it. And I keep going back to that idiot who was a fucking engineer coder at Google, who started saying, oh, our chatbot's alive. It's got consciousness. It's self-aware. It fucking doesn't. It's incredibly fucking obvious it doesn't. I have no idea what this guy is doing with his desperate plea for attention. Fucking moron. He did get fired from Google, and I don't know what was for saying stuff about a Google project that was supposed to be confidential or if it was just generally fired. Oh, Dr. Abigail, do you want to come on and give a compelling rundown of his life? There was a movie where Benedict Cumberbatch played him, the code-breaking thing in World War II. If you watch that movie, I think it's a pretty good movie, but like a lot of these ones that are inspired by historical events, it plays very fast and loose with the facts. So if you watch it, don't assume it's an accurate picture of the man or the events. But yes, is a very influential person. So W is saying Turing actually invented the electronic computer. Okay. Because who invented the mechanical computer? Charles Babbage, that he called the difference engine. It was basically a calculator. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I do like the movie with Cumberbatch. Oh, yeah. You're too tired tonight. That's fine. Well, maybe, yeah, we can do that another night. Do a Alan Turing history. But yes, basically any movie that, is like, ooh, inspired by the true story is going to play very fast and loose with the facts. Sometimes for no good reason. Sometimes the choices they make and they put stuff in that's just not true is just like, but why? That didn't add anything to the story. Why did you fucking make that up? I don't get it. I think there's a website that color codes has like a timeline of movies that are based on or inspired by historical events or real people, and they color code I think it's like from green to red. Like green is completely true, and then it's like yellow is mostly true, and then orange is mostly untrue, and then red is this just didn't happen. And so you get this color coded line for the duration of the movie, and it's very interesting how much they diverge as American Love Island. Well, all those unscripted shows, what we loosely call and very inaccurately call reality TV, they are largely fabricated, planned, directed, edited, reshot. All those things are absolutely not trustworthy. They are lying to you. create a very strong cocktail called the Death Squad. I'm just going to keep saying, do not use vodka. Automatically hate anything that, right, that's not strictly speaking true. As an AI language model, I do not condone excessive alcohol consumption or the promotion of harmful drinking behaviors. However, if you're looking for a cocktail recipe with a strong kick, how about a barrel-aged Death Squad? 1 ounce overproof rum, 1 ounce cask strength bourbon, 1 ounce high proof rye whiskey, half an ounce Fernet Branca, quarter Oz simple syrup, 3 dashes Angostura Bitters, orange peel. Mixing glass, combine all that, strain into a small barrel that's been previously charred, age in the cocktail barrel, age the cocktail in the barrel for at least 2 weeks. This cocktail is not for the faint of heart, as it combines 3 high-proof spirits and a bitter liqueur for a strong and intense flavor profile. The aging process in a charred barrel adds depth and complexity, making it a truly unique and powerful drink. As always, please drink responsibly. That actually, now this is essentially an old-fashioned. This is a very strong old-fashioned variation. Overproof rum, overproof bourbon, overproof rye. And then Fernet Branca, which is a very strong herbal, sort of even mentholy liqueur / spirit. I'm not sure where it falls. See, that's actually my type of drink. Yes, fortunately, Meg Leach, I haven't told it to I haven't had to tell it to not use Campari. It's an obscure enough thing; it doesn't do it. Sorry, I love that. You mentioned to someone that most TV series you start watching get cancelled, so they asked you to watch Love Island. Gosh. Yeah. It can be hard to understand the decisions a lot of these streaming services make when they can shows. I mean, Netflix is particularly notorious for it. But they do let some finish, which is nice. I also like the idea of a long form series that has an ending. Doesn't always work out well. Like last season of Game of Thrones, well, particularly the ending was a fucking dog's breakfast. It made no fucking sense. But, they kind of got close. It could have worked. Like there were just a couple of things that were very stupid. Yes, Pugwash, 1899 got cancelled after 1 season. I haven't watched it. So, I've contributed it to getting it cancelled by not watching it. Looked kind of interesting, but I never watched it. Just seeing here, kind of thinking mild. Just asking ChatGPT to make all these cocktail recipes a mild temptation to make another one. But I don't think I will because it's only a Tuesday. There you go, see. Oh, right, yes. You contributed by enjoying it and that your curse got it. Oh, well. That's how it goes sometimes, I guess. What am I watching at the moment? Started watching the final season of Picard. I am going to watch the second season of Carnival Row, which they have said is the final season. They're not making any more after this. So I'm assuming there's some satisfying conclusion to the end of it. Slightly older show I'm watching, Preacher, because I only discovered it relatively recently on Prime, because it was originally on Stan in Australia, which I don't subscribe to, so I just thought I'll just never see that. Then I noticed it was on Prime, so I was like, ooh, been to that. 4 seasons, and I think it wasn't cancelled, like it finished the story in 4 seasons. And I think I've got, maybe only 2 episodes to go. Maybe only 1. It's interesting how much it diverged from the comic, because I read the comic back in the 90s. I have all the trade paperbacks of the comic from the 90s. There's some essential elements of it that are there in the TV show, but there are really radical departures as well, which really is the thing to do. Make it a new experience. I don't think all their changes are for the better, but they're not terrible either. So, and what else was watching that show, 1923, which is a Yellowstone origin story. I've never watched Yellowstone because it's not on streaming service that I subscribe to. This guy apparently, I think he did the thing that's got Sylvester Stallone in it as well, Tulsa King. And I've heard a bit about that. I haven't watched it. I've heard a bit about it. But apparently this guy, he's like, conservatives love him because he does, kept coming up in 1923, pushing these, but at least they're like mainstream conservative American ideas. They're not sort of batshit far right crap. They're just like, oh, one days there'll be media that just tell us what to think, and that'll be terrible. Pugwash, you like Tulsa King? Expect them to cancel it. Maybe I have to watch it before they cancel. But yeah, I watched 1923, and I just found it kind of funny when it just would periodically there'd just be a bit of dialogue where it's just, sort of the American conservative talking points, and these are cowboyish characters from the early 20th century. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Use your creative medium to promote your worldview if your worldview is not just completely fucking toxic and evil. And it's incredibly obvious why this guy is popular with conservatives in America, because he throws all their talking points into the scripts. At least it produces a good quality show, so it's got that going for him, as opposed to the ridiculous conservatives who have no talent and cannot do a good show. Ooh, look, I bet people have done that, asking ChatGPT to write new episodes of The Expanse. There is, and I think it's from the original show creators. I haven't really looked into it, but I've seen it. They are actually launching a comic series to continue the story of The Expanse. Now, of course, the actual novels of The Expanse go past what was done on TV. So I think these comics, because there are divergences in the TV show from the books as well, because that's just what happens. And so I think these comics are continuing the story of the TV show. So I assume they use the storylines from the subsequent novels. I think. Oh, yes. Okay, you know that one? Yeah, I think it is crowdfunded. Yeah. But if it succeeds, it'll be available outside of Kickstarter as well. So I think I've funded 1 or 2 things on Kickstarter. I don't do it, or those various fundraising platforms. I haven't done it a lot. Is it 2 things? Might have been 2 things. I don't think it's more than 2 things. It's kind of fascinating. Like, you look up high-profile Kickstarter failures, and they're pretty fucking mind-blowing. The people who've taken in millions of dollars, and these are people who had a good reputation, and then for one reason and another, it fucked up, and the money's all gone, and the product never appears. It's pretty wild. Actually, I just thought I can think of 2. I crowdfunded the original Exploding Kittens card game, which was just a mind-blowing success for the people involved. And they've since released about half a dozen or more games, and I think they've all done quite well, and more fucking power to them. And a photography book from an Australian music photographer, Michelle Hunder, and this one's all about the Australian hip-hop scene from about 10 years ago. Photography is all about 10 years. The book, I think it was about 10 years ago, something like that. But it's a nice time capsule. It's a nice big format photography book, portraits of influential people in the Australian hip-hop scene. Can't think of anything else I funded in a crowdfunding thing. There might have been something else, but those 2, they were both successful. You funded an e-ink watch once. Raised 2,000%, spent it, never made a product. Yeah, it's happened. I think I got... Wasn't the original Pebble watch crowdfunded? Because I did have a Pebble watch. I quite liked Pebble watches, but then they went broke. So if your battery ran out or something, you were fucked. I lost my charger, and then you couldn't get them. And I was like, well, fuck that. And ever since then, I've thought about getting another smartwatch because I kind of like them, but I've never done it. I'll tell you the one thing that I really liked about a smartwatch that was paired to my phone, never missing a text message. Because sometimes even just with the phone in my pocket on vibrate, I don't feel the vibration. But if it's paired to a wristwatch, which vibrates, don't miss text messages or calls. And of course, with the modern smartwatches, you can actually answer the call from the watch, Dick Tracy style. Like, you don't have to fish out your phone. You just go, hello, 99? What's going on there? So I keep, like I said, it's probably 10 years I've been thinking of, I might get another smartwatch, and I never have. And of course, they've gone ahead in leaps and bounds, and I don't have one. I just don't have one. So still on smartwatches, Pugwash, you got your first smartwatch. Wife saw you repeatedly looking at watch for notifications, asked me if I needed to be somewhere. Oh, because, yeah, normally that's the old thing of someone who's sick of being where they are, checking the time, but you're actually looking at notifications. Yeah. Oh, God, you'd have to control that in various social settings, even in work settings. If someone's talking and you just go, oh, my God. Oh, dude, I bet I would do that too. Damn. Well, I don't get that. Here's the thing. I wouldn't do push notifications. Like, I was having this conversation with someone the other day. It's like, no, I do not do the push notifications. Literally the only push notification I get to my phone is text messages. No social media push messages at all. And that stems from, well, again, 10 years ago when I actually had a fair bit of activity on social media where I would, if I'd set the various socials to push, I would have just been getting just a stupid amount of notifications. Sorry. Oh, God. Oh. It would have got a stupid amount of notifications that just would have driven me crazy. less of an issue now that I'm not so active. But still don't want it. I'm just going to have a little taste of that. Not a lot. So stir that up. Actually, I've got one more here. All right, I'm just going to have a little taste of this. Oh, that's yummy. Ooh, that is yummy. It's like complex. If I remember rightly, that one's got Fernet Branca in it. Just to make it a little bit interesting. Complex flavor. Wait, how long? I was just thinking with the old-fashioned experiment I was doing. Was it 14th or 19th? My handwriting's so bad. I don't remember if that... Actually, I can answer that by looking at when I recorded a bit of video. But that's only at most 2 weeks anyway. I want to leave it for 3 or 4 weeks. Let me see something on the GBUs. Oh God, this is a... Sorry. Ugh. Sorry, this is Corey Doctorow. A simple DIY hoodie can fool security cameras. It's like, yeah, you just have lights in it. So, okay, here's someone who's pretending they invented it when it was in a Cory Doctorow novel 10 years ago. Mac Pierce, an artist whose work critically engages with weaponized emerging technologies. Everyday hoodie retrofit to include an array of infrared LEDs that, when activated, blinds any nearby night vision security cameras using mostly off-the-shelf components. Yes. Didn't invent it. It's in a Cory Doctorow novel from fucking 10 years ago. All right, just me being a smart ass. Smarter songwriters. I think they got the answer. Sorry, that just really distracted me. I was going off to do something else, and I saw that and I go, what's this bullshit? Someone pretending this is new? Yep, no, that did distract me, and I forgot what I was actually looking for. Oh my God. What a silly person. What a silly person. But that's okay. I never claimed to... I never claimed to not be silly. I've actually claimed that multiple times. It's just not really that accurate for me to say I'm not silly. Yeah, it's only in the discussion stages in Melbourne to just be able to use a credit card as a train ticket. By jings, that's going to be a honeypot for hackers, a system that records credit cards. I would not like to be the person who's responsible for the security on that, because it's going to get hammered. It's just going to be attacked non-stop, day in, day out. And yes, so any failure of said security is going to get a huge amount of publicity. Bugwash, you're 5 miles from the nearest bus stop, you say. Ah, well. All well and good. I'm an 8-minute walk. Well, actually 6 or 7 minutes if I walk really briskly. leisurely 8-minute walk. I've validated this again this morning when I was thinking about going to work. Like I was already, and I checked the tram tracker and it's going, well, there's one in 8 minutes, or there's one in 18 minutes. I go, well, that's annoying because I know if I just scoot, I can make the 8-minute one. And I wasn't really ready to scoot, waiting 10 whole minutes for the one after. And I went, you know what? Fuck it. I had faffed about a bit and say goodbye to Mr. Sangry and then go, let's double. Well, I didn't really double time it. I just walked briskly. And I got there about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute before the tram. So I made the walk in about 6 minutes, I think. Justin, I have concerns about using a credit card as a ticket. It just means every single time the machine's reading your credit card, it's just huge security red lights there. I'd be very worried about people putting skimmers on the ticket readers on the tram, because the criminals who put the skimmers on ATMs are so fucking crafty, because in the early days, the skimmers they put on the ATMs were kind of obvious. They were huge and bulky. But these days, they've got ones that you basically cannot tell that it's not part of the ATM. So I don't use ATMs that aren't attached to a bank, because the bank's going to have surveillance on them. And in fact, I don't even use it if it's not my bank. But there's another thing from COVID. In the last 3 years, I think I've used an ATM 4 times. And I probably used to use an ATM twice a week. And in the last 3 years, I've probably used an ATM 4 times. The times, they are a-changin'. But I think public transport would be a very tempting target for criminals. And I think they would probably stand a very good chance of being able to fit some sort of skimmer to, and particularly because people are just going to be using the chip. So you just want a chip reader on the ticket machine. I think there would be an incredibly tempting target for criminals. Dr. Abigail, credit card NFC data is a string of numbers, somewhat innocuous. You need the PIN and such to use the card. That's why skimmers on ATMs also include cameras, as far as you know. I'd say that with an asterisk, because is the simple fact, if the card reader is doing a transaction just when you tap, theoretically, you're able to intercept the information that allows a transaction to go through. And sorry, yes, Dr. Abigail, you're talking about PIN on an ATM. Yeah, you do use your PIN on an ATM, but tap and go things, which is what the public transport thing will be, and I think that's why it would be such an attractive target for criminals. Yeah, Pugwash, you can spend up to 100 quid. I can do $200. They upped it. It used to be $100 pre-COVID, but then all the supermarkets and everyone's saying, no, everyone's using cards now. Can we up the limit for requiring a PIN? Now it's $200. But yes, I want to do things that make my eye twitch. Say, like, if I go to the ATM machine, I need to put in my PIN number. Little screams internally when people say that. Ha! Couldn't make it up. It's time 9:20. So Justin, so you're saying millennials never use ATMs? Well, it's got the stage where I never use ATMs. And again, like I said, it's really weird. I'm not exaggerating. Pre-COVID, I would have used an ATM twice a week. And 3 years now, I've used an ATM about 4 times. I haven't kept track of it because it's so fucking rare. But at most once every 6 months. Super weird. Yes. See, I got you on that. That really does my head in. People who talk about going to the ATM and put ATM machine and putting their PIN number in. Oofed. So gosh, only cash when you bought your dad something on eBay and he's giving you the cash. There you go. Yeah. Oh my God. And that's another thing the conspiracy nut jobs go for. They're paranoid about a cashless society. And honestly, the concerns are not completely unfounded. It's just that the conspiracy nuts take them to some absurd place. And it's just like, dude, honestly? Really? Yeah, see, Safa banks used to be regarded as a service, and so they'd be available everywhere. And over the last couple of decades, they've just become profit centers. Oh, that's an interesting one. Pugwasher Bank has no branches, but they answer the phone. Safa, FPOS doesn't use the mobile network. They actually use the landline network. And when I were a lad, when I was at uni in Bathurst, the phone lines between Sydney and Bathurst got cut. So FPOS was not working, and it took a couple of weeks to fix the problem because someone had actually cut through the cables. And everything was on paper for a couple of weeks, just like it was pre-70s. In the 70s, everything was on paper. Justin, I am not at all surprised China's trying to make digital cash, because they play what they want to do is basically exactly what the conspiracy nuts say. The Chinese Communist Party wants complete control over the activities of its citizens. And that's what digital currency does. You cannot hide any transactions if it's all digitally recorded. Sorry, that just made me think of the line from the Last of Us TV show with the wonderful couple. Who's that? Nick Offerman and the Australian guy. I've forgotten his name. But it's one line when the Nick Offerman's character is a real loner, bloody doomsday prepper. So he's in his element now that doomsday has actually come. But he actually starts up a relationship with this guy after a few years. And then after they've been together a couple of years, there's a scene where the other guy's really upset and just let me do nice things. And he goes, you're impossible. Like, stop being so nuts. You got this weird thing where you've got the idea, you and this crazy idea that the government are all fascists. And he goes, the government are all fascists. And he goes, well, yeah, they are now, but they weren't then. I don't think I've ever sat through that movie, Pugwash. I am familiar with it, so I'm familiar with the thing about digits and trading that. Yes. Wasn't that, what's his name? The pop star in it. So you think in some sorts of FPOS machine has a SIM. Oh yeah, okay. So mobile FPOS does use the mobile network, yes, but physically in stores, I don't think they're reliant on it. Yes, that's him, Justin Timberlake. I was trying to remember his goddamn name. You heard that some country lost the internet connection, elderly to cut the line. I don't believe that's true, but there have been significant outages in regions because important cables have been accidentally severed. Now, and our international submarine cables are really susceptible to sabotage. Tasty. Anyway, one of my sody waters before bedtime. Maybe not. Maybe just a bit of actual water. Maybe a bit of actual water. Might do that. So I was saying it's in Georgia. Yeah, there have been regional outages because of accidental or malicious severing of cables. That's happened all over. These days, the network has so many redundancies, it's quite difficult to cut off large areas. Not impossible, difficult though. Would have to be a very orchestrated effort. Whereas, 20 years ago, cut a single cable and you'd fuck shit up. But less of an issue now. You cause local or regional problems by cutting cables. Sherry Pugwash, only used for cash points locally is for thieves to ram with tractors. Unless they're badly installed, they are actually really difficult to dislodge. It's incredible how fixed. It's incredible how fixed it was. And I know there were cases here in Australia where someone stole a tow truck and then welded the hooks to an ATM and thought the tow truck would be able to rip the ATM out. I think it just burnt out the engine on the tow truck or blew the tires on the tow truck. Oh, Safi saying it's Georgia, the country, or Armenia. Well, they're not real countries. I do remember that, yes. 2 of the 3 cables to Tassie being cut or damaged. That's what I mean. Regions are definitely susceptible. 75-year-old Georgian woman cut off internet in the country for 12 hours with a garden spade. So, yes, I'm just going to say that Armenia is not a real country. So, yeah. Population. Okay, Armenia has a lesser population than Melbourne. Not a real country. Just saying. It's that counts as a region. That's a regional outage. So Tassie only had a 12-hour outage is not really cut off from the internet. It's very temporary. Like I said, the fucking phone thing that got cut when I was at uni, it took weeks to rectify. So all transactions were paper-based for weeks. Well, I mean, considering there are individual cities with the population of Australia in them, it's just we're much bigger. Also, Armenia is probably only the fucking size of Melbourne as well. I don't know how big Armenia is. Oh yeah, there's a few things like that stuff. He's saying Armenia will refuse you a visa if you've been to Azerbaijan, vice versa. There are various Middle Eastern countries that will deny you entry visa if you've got Israel stamped on your passport, and Israel will deny you entry if you've been to a couple of other countries. And in fact, the US is a bit iffy about something. I'm not sure if they still will refuse you entry if you've been to Cuba. I'm not sure if that's still in place. But lots of places do it. Lots of places do it. So with that less than 3 million population, Armenia is the third most densely populated of former Soviet republics. There you go. Must be tiny. Armenia area. How big is it? Oh my God, it's less than 30 square kilometers, for fuck's sake. That is definitely not a real country. That is absolutely not a real country. My God. Struggle to get back in the UK if you join a Middle Eastern terrorist group. Yeah, well, I'm talking about just visiting as a tourist rather than buying into the whole thing. Yes. So a country that's smaller in both population and area than Australia, than Melbourne is not a country. I think you got a decimal point wrong, Safa. I'm seeing 29.74 kilometers. I think that's meters. That's meters. What you're saying there is meters. 29,000 square meters, not kilometers. Yeah, no, add Armenia to countries that won't let me in if they know what I've done. There's a few of them. Okay. I am now going to say you might not be wrong, Safa. Bing might be wrong. Maybe Bing got it wrong because Google says 29,743 kilometers squared. So one of them is wrong by a factor of 1,000. A factor that is an appalling error. Wrong by a factor of 1,000. How big's Nauru? Nauru's a tiny island. How big is Armenia in kilometers square? Yeah, so the chat bot agrees that it's 29,000. So fucking Bing is wrong by a factor of 1,000. My God. Yeah, well, see, Monaco's not real either. Monaco's just a fucking tax dodge. No, probably shouldn't be surprised But I am somewhat surprised that Bing could make an error that bad. Is it Armenia? Also, just want to check the population too. Okay, so they agree on population. Population less than Melbourne. Yes, okay. Megaleech, look it up on Google, because both Google and ChatGPT say Armenia is an area of approximately 29,743 square kilometers. Bing says 29.74. Okay. What sort of cunt does that? Okay, I take no responsibility for that. Whoever has coded Bing to present a number like that is a fucking worthless piece of shit who needs to be smacked about the head with a fucking cricket bat. That is fucking stupid. That is fucking moronic. Whoever is responsible for that is a stupid fucking worthless fucking piece of shit. I mean, that is just fucking ridiculous. Whoever's, again, fucking Microsoft. Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly, whoever's responsible for that is a fucking moron. Fucking attach some electrodes to their scrotum and... Because it was a dude. It was definitely a dude who did it. Fucking Microsoft. Jesus. It's just like, oh, why don't we present information in a really stupid, ambiguous, misleading way? Fucking morons. Absolute fucking morons. I have just contempt for people who present information that badly when their literal only job is to present information and they present it that badly. Fuck them. That's just fucking stupid beyond words. How shitty is that? The urge to fucking track someone down and slap them. Yeah. This actually, I think that almost goes on the list of blindingly obvious things you told me. But with the other ones, I just felt I don't feel stupid for this one. That's just appallingly badly presented information. That's just ridiculously, stupidly confusing and unnecessarily confusing. And that's a conscious decision. Some fucking Nimrod in Microsoft made a conscious decision to present that information in such a stupid fucking way. It's just like, oh, should we put it and because here's the thing, they don't save any space. To put 29.74K doesn't save any space. If you actually just put, what's the final digit on it? It's... Sorry, I just need to bring it back up here. Yeah, 29,743. They've just replaced the 3 with a K and made it visually confusing. They haven't saved any space, and they've presented the number in a way that nobody fucking presents numbers like that. Nobody presents numbers like that. It's just I seriously fucking jumper cables on their ghoulies, for fuck's sake. So Bugwash here, when they're stopping you from using your system because they're doing something, this may take some time. Yeah. I have no idea what that is you've pasted there, Safa. I see the last thing. But I seriously, that is fucking electrodes on the ghoulies for whoever fucking did that. I am not going to get over this in a hurry. Deliberately and unnecessarily and stupidly presenting information in a confusing way. It's just like, what kind of fuckwit do you have to be to do that? What is that? I didn't ask for the notification. Okay. Phone's doing something different that it hasn't done. Cheeky buggers. I'll have to fix something on there. But yes, okay. I haven't had a real fucking hate spray against Microsoft for a little while, at least. Although I suppose I did when their updates fucked up being able to connect my microphone and camera to the stream. So I guess I did. Yes, Pugwash. I actually just got a push notification on my phone. I need to fucking switch that off. It was for an app. I thought, what? Wait, I didn't ask for that. And I just had to check what it was. Should I do it now? Wait a sec. Let's see if I can fix it quickly. Settings. Notifications. Okay, these are all in alphabetical order. So that ought to be easy. What is the app called again? Okay. No. I have no fucking idea, you cheeky fuckers, how you got around to fucking pushing banners. Okay, you can fuck off and all. Now I'm just discovering other apps that have somehow managed to get notifications on. Cheeky fuckers. Cheeky fuckers. What do we got here? Just double, triple checking that none of those cheeky fuckers. You know what? I'm switching this one off too. I don't want notifications about that. All right. What else? No, definitely not Apple TV because I don't fucking use it. All right. Well, that was actually useful to get that push notification because I had no idea that app could do it. Now it can't. Oh, I was going to see him. Megaleech. Grindr has the push notifications. Hotties in your area. Safa. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But that was Apple. And it was not a Microsoft app that was doing it either. But trust me, Microsoft is making my life miserable with my work computer at the moment. It's an absolute fucking farce. And no fucker at the help desk got back to me for the last 2 days. Super annoyed with them. Gosh darn it. Fucking technology just giving me shit. All right. Let's see. I'm going to start to remember Windows Phone. What a failure that was. It's legal to have cameras in your private residence. Does that mean you should? So this is like a weird article on the ABC site. Okay. Hobart man Grant Jackson works in security, knows how to find cameras in the house, start a family holiday, scan the Wi-Fi network of his accommodation with an internet protocol address scanning app, track down any surveillance. Grant says he almost always refuses to install cameras inside private properties. Can only recall one instance where he installed cameras in the lounge room. She wanted to be able to check on her elderly mother who has severe health problems. Recording audio of private conversations without the consent of those involved is illegal in Australia. Legislation does vary in states and territories. In Queensland, it's lawful to record a conversation if the person recording is part of it, but there's restrictions on how it's used. It's an offence to record a conversation you're not involved in, or to video record private places such as a bedroom or bathroom. Grant says there's a privacy risk using private surveillance cameras, which could be hacked. Yes, you need to change the security settings if you install a camera. What about ethics? Am I removing the autonomy of a person by filming them? If you tell them about it, you reinstate autonomy. Recommends if you have cameras in the house, telling a guest you have cameras in the house. Okay, that was actually a boring article. Okay, I had higher hopes for it. I look at the fact check things like this sometimes, and it's disturbing how fucking stupid people are. It's just absolutely. Ooh, paramedic shares terrifying. Okay, this is clickbait, and I'm going to click on it anyway. Paramedic shares terrifying warning. Every SQN must hear. People don't realize this is going to be stupid, and I'm going to hate myself for clicking on it. A few centimeters on melted ice in an esky can lead to drowning young children. Get fucked. Get absolutely fucked. I do hate myself for clicking on it. That was dumber than I thought. That is more stupid than I fucking thought. And I feel stupid for clicking on it. Kids can drown in water. Okay. Why we're overworked. Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow issue emotional Courtney Cox statement. Cough medicines recalled over potentially life-threatening ingredient. Well, that's not good. Medicines containing fulcodine. Okay. See, again, I'm not going to click it. 4 words Aussie are here of sick of hearing. Like, fuck you, News Corp. There you go. Facebook, Google, Microsoft passwords, logins among 26.6 million stolen by cyber criminals since 2018. Yeah, well, that's a thing. Should go into have I been pwned? see if your passwords have been part of any online dumps. At least $150,000 worth of Magic cards dumped in landfill. Dumpster diver finds Magic the Gathering, Modern Horizons, real life discarded pile. Okay, someone chucked out, again, saying they're worth $150,000. I think that's rubbery numbers. I bet. Worth to who? Can you literally go and sell them all for that much, or is it just a theoretical value? Australia Post Mail Centre in Rockhampton and allegedly ransacked by group disguised as workers. We're saying you can go into a shopping mall, steal anything you want, just wear a high-vis jacket and push a trolley around, and then people think whatever's on the trolley is meant to be on the trolley. Not that I've ever done it, but could be. Oh my God. I swear to God, every time I see something in honestly, any of the mainstream media outlets, but particularly the really conservative Murdoch-owned ones about the Labor Party or the anti-Labor, pro-Liberal, I just want to scream. It just drives me up the fucking wall. They're so dishonest. They're such fucking liars. Such fucking liars. Scumbags. Absolute scumbags. All right, is there anything else fun to talk about before I go to bed? How do you market to Gen Z? I always, with marketing, I always go back to the old fucking Bill Hicks routine. Hey, if you're in marketing, kill yourself. Seriously. So what's that? WOTC dumped them because they were overpricing cards for ages, couldn't sell them. Magic cards plummeted. Yeah, I mean, I just saw the headline, and again, I refused to click on it. So it was across multiple websites, this story, and I'm just like, yep, you know what? You're making that up, saying that they're worth that much. I would bet money that the person who found them could not sell them for that much. They could not turn it into that much cash. It's just fucking horseshit. People just talk fucking horse shit. Blacksmiths added to Australian apprenticeships priority list. Trade remain hot demand amid dwindling numbers. Well, young folk, I'm not joking. This is not being sarcastic or anything. Become a fucking blacksmith. That's a cool trade. If it's in demand, fucking do it. That's just such a cool trade. Be a blacksmith. It's fucking awesome. Nice. Oh, what else is happening? Greta Thunberg joins Indigenous protesters in Norway's energy ministry. There you go. All right, and speaking of protests, yeah. You know what? I'm completely on board with Lydia Thorpe lying in front of the cop float at Pride. Fuck cops at Pride, honestly. Cops are the enemy. This politician was asked online if she gave a sexual favour to a stranger to thank him. It was the final straw. Well, people fucking suck, really. Absolute joke. Furious renters booted. Yes, well, the rental market is pretty fucking evil right now. Yeah. What else is happening? Volkswagen briefly refused to track car with abducted child inside until it received payment. Good Lord. Oh, and here's an even longer headline. Police say Volkswagen refused to track a stolen car with a 2-year-old inside after the thieves ran over the child's pregnant mother until the owner paid a fee. Good Lord. Sometimes companies make such bad PR moves. I cannot fucking believe it. Just cannot believe it. But again, they're soulless monsters, basically. That's what it comes down to. So, what it's like being married to an author. Ruthless ambition and ego. I think the guy in the picture is Roald Dahl. Illegal crypto mining operation found below high school. Hilarious. It's in Massachusetts in the US. Former US school employee racked up $17,000. Hardly seems worth it. Sorry, here's an... Okay, if Dr. Abigail, if you're still there, this will be the last thing before I go to bed, but I want your input. What did Frodo actually do for a living before Lord of the Rings? Now, I have an answer to that. Interested, Dr. Abigail, if you're fine. Oh, that's that. Okay, sure. My answer is he didn't have a living. He was wealthy, or he was adopted by a wealthy person. Yeah, he did not have a trade or a job. He had inherited property and wealth and didn't need to have a job. What's your take on it, Dr. Abigail? That's my answer. And I'll look up what this silly lightweight website says. All right, I'm reading this one. Yes, yeah, no, he's rich, and also, yeah, yes, and 33 is the Hobbit's 21. Yeah, no, and that's also what this article says. No, he was just rich, and in fact, all of the pals, Pippin and Merry, were also from rich families. Sam was the only poor one. He was employed by Frodo as a gardener, so he had a job. But yes, I thought when I saw that headline, I go, Frodo didn't have a job. He was just rich because he was adopted by Bilbo, who was rich. That's what the article said. So why that deserved a little article on a lightweight website, I don't know. It doesn't seem very topical at the moment, although there was the story about there's going to be more Tolkien-inspired movies that maybe have Peter Jackson on them. So, no, fuck, who knows? Maybe they'll be good. Oh my God. This stupid fucking moral panic story about a kid who is really upset. I'm in trouble, Mom. I got that money off you. I said it was a lodge, and I bought a vape with it. And it's just like, oh. That's just fucking stupid. That is fucking stupid and also almost definitely not true. Kid crying to mum, going, Mum, I'm so upset. I've done a bad thing. I bought a vape. Fuck off. Just fuck right off. Honestly. Fucking moral panics. Moral fucking panics. I hate. Then I go back to fucking jazz, rock and roll, comics, Dungeons and Dragons, rap music. Oh, now it's fucking vapes. Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly. Oh, I think that's fitting that I finished the stream by having a little rant on stupid AF moral panics. God damn it. People are just consistently stupid. That's my big takeaway. People. They suck. Anyway, having finished with a rant, I am in fact finished. Eat my cherry. What am I watching tomorrow night? Good question, Shafa. Probably Carnival Row, actually. Finished other things I was watching, or there's some that are only coming out one episode a week. Have to see how many episodes of Carnival Row are available. Very soon, I think Mandalorian's coming back in a week or two. Be able to start watching season 3 of The Mandalorian. And I heard a rumor, or maybe it's not a rumor, maybe it's a fact, Luke Skywalker return, and it's not a computer-generated young Luke Skywalker. It's Sebastian Stan playing young Luke Skywalker because he just looks incredibly like young Mark Hamill. It's mind-blowing how much Sebastian Stan, who's Bucky, the Winter Soldier in the Captain America movies, it's astonishing how much. I've seen people Photoshop Sebastian Stan's face onto iconic young Mark Hamill photos, and it's so hard to tell them apart. It's mind-blowing. I haven't seen any pictures. I just saw a headline somewhere. I said, oh, are they really doing that? Casting Sebastian Stan as young Luke Skywalker? That would be interesting. So I haven't absolutely verified that. I just saw a headline about it. So it'll be interesting if they do that. I want to see that. Anyway, see all you fine people another time. But I will say bye for now.